PFF is running one of their biggest sales ever. 40% off a PFF Plus subscription right now using the promo code BLACKFRIDAY. That means that you get everything fully unlocked. You get the grades, you get the stats, you get all the fantasy advice, the betting advice, which our new player prop tool is available on web as well to make you a smarter, better. You've got all of the draft analysis, the free agency analysis, all of that great stuff. Subscribe.pff.com to get 40% off a year-long PFF Plus subscription. Get it now. Eagles, Cowboys. Let's talk about it. Dallas, victorious. 24-21. Thrilling comeback. Spotted them 21 points. Didn't matter. I mean, it did. It was thrilling down to the end. Top 5 graded players that we had for the Dallas Cowboys. Edge rusher Sam Williams, a 94.2. Wide receiver George Pickens, a 90.0. Defensive tackle Quinnen Williams with an 87.0. Offensive guard Tyler Smith with an 81.3. Safety Malik Hooker, a 75.2. Quarterback Dak Prescott, a 74.8. On Philly side of things, offensive tackle Jordan Mailata with an 82.9. Cornerback Michael Carter II with a 75.5. Linebacker Zach Bond, a 75.3. Wide receiver Devontae Smith, a 74.0. And then wide receiver A.J. Brown, a 71.2. Jalen Hurts in this game, a 72.3. Stat that told the story, Dalton.
Trevor, even down 21-0. When you have Dak Prescott and these receivers, you do have a chance. And
yes,
the advantage of having an awesome veteran quarterback like Dak Prescott, he is going to keep firing, and he's going to keep firing downfield. 10-plus yard throws in this game, 9 for 14, 231 yards, a touchdown, 3 big-time throws, also a throw in the end zone where Devontae Smith drew a flag on Cooper DeJean, set him up for a touchdown later in the drive. I think that's really what you get is the Eagles, and as great as their defense is, and they have the zone coverages, and they have so much talent, the pass rush, the linebackers, everything else that they have, Dak Prescott wasn't afraid to fire in week 1. The Cowboys probably should have won that game, aside from obviously a handful of drops that occurred and took some big plays off the board. This game, George Pickens especially was outstanding. Jake Ferguson made plays. CeeDee Lamb, Kevontae Turpin, everybody making a play at some point in this game, downfield in particular, but Dak Prescott not afraid. And when you're even down 21-0 early in the game, you have that guy and you have this set of weapons, you have a chance to win. Kudos to Dak for leading this thing. Obviously, they got a lot of stops, and you're getting into that side of it, but that's really the advantage of having Dak Prescott as your quarterback right here.
Yeah, and unfortunately for me, the stat that told the story is just how hot and cold the Eagles' offense is. When it looks good, man, it looks good. I mean, you've got star power everywhere. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, the tight end, Saquon Barkley, like it's all there for them. And so when it's clicking, you feel really good about this team. You look at their first 3 drives, 3 touchdowns, right? That's how you spot them 21 points. First drive, 7 plays, 50 yards, touchdown. Next play, 12 plays, 61 yards, touchdown. 6 plays, 76 yards, touchdown. Like, it's just methodical stuff. It was great from them. But then after that, the rest of their possessions go 3 plays, -2 yards, punt. 1 play, 1 yard, and then it was the end of half. So they didn't try to get into field goal range. They just had the end of half. 3 plays, 3 yards, punt. 6 plays, 18 yards, punt. 3 plays, 7 yards, punt. 7 plays, 30 yards, and then they missed a field goal. 6 plays, 33 yards, fumble. 5 yards, 5 plays, 17 yards, and a punt. Very inconsistent. It's extremely hot and cold. When the Eagles are running, tough to beat. But this offense, I think you get worried about this team doing this 4 games in a row in the playoffs against some of the best. And so their record is what it is because they're still talented enough to win games even where they don't play a full 60 minutes the way that they want to. They are still that good. They're still that talented. I'm not here to say that the Eagles, are dead. They don't have a chance to win the Super Bowl. I don't think any of that's true. But I think it's a lot more wide open than maybe it was last year. Because they just have games where they just go completely non-existent. They just go completely cold.
And I know they beat them head-to-head, which would be a lot more controversial in college for sure. But the Rams are the better team than them right now. The Eagles are not the best team in the NFC.
Well, I agree. We went over this when we talked about the Rams. Right. Like, even in that Eagles game, you had to have those 2 special teams plays for the Eagles to even beat the Rams. I thought the Rams were the better team that game.
Yeah. There's multiple factors to this. The first one is that they're up. This is a game they were up 21-0, and yet they had 15 design carries.
Yeah,
And I think
it's just a weird dynamic right now with the A.J. Brown stuff, and like I truly think all of this like goes into it. I really
it's all one. But the big problem, I mean, the A.J. Brown thing is one thing, but they got him involved early, right? He had
but then it's like, we got to keep getting him involved and all of that. But then when they could have leaned much more on the run game.
I'm still. It's we're done with week 12 just about. And I'm still trying to decide if this is a team that won't run the ball or they can't run the ball, or now it's both. Here's Saquon Barkley.
It feels a little bit like both.
Saquon Barkley this year, 3.7 yards per carry.
Mm-hmm.
If you take out one game against the Giants, when he had 150 yards, he's at 3.1 yards per carry.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me think they can't.
Right, I agree.
And it's starting to feel like they know it. And and I found something interesting. This is kind of a Cowboys thing too, that I believe it was Landon Dickerson said after the game. He said, they got a lot more 5-man fronts in this. Remember for weeks I was begging Matt Eberflus to do something, anything, and he said, well, we hadn't seen it on tape before. Well, they've been doing it the last 2 games before this as well. Against the Cardinals, they had almost 30 snaps where they lined up 5 defensive linemen on the field.
Right.
Last week, handful of times, Quinnen Williams was in there. The Raiders, you don't really need 5 against the Raiders right now anyway. But through week 8, the Cowboys had run only 17 snaps with 5 defensive linemen on the field. The last 3 games, 60. 22 in this game.
Good find.
So you have that. Not only are they messing with the fronts, finally, thank you, Coach, but also with Quinnen Williams, the difference that Quinnen Williams is making his defense right now. And this was the test game. Okay, he did it against the Raiders.
The D-line looks more rejuvenated right now because I feel like they have a superstar in the middle that they go, oh, okay, well, Quinnen's going to handle his business. Let me handle my business.
And those types of players.
Like Osa was awesome.
They make everybody else better, right? You get that 3-man rotation, or at times all 3 of them on the field with Quinnen and Kenny Clark and Osa. You've got Ezraku playing great off the Jadeveon Clowney. You've got guys all over this defensive line playing well right now, but it is centered around, even the linebackers are playing better between Overshone and Wilson being inserted into the lineup, but also
when you play better up at the front, it makes your job a lot easier as a linebacker.
What a guy like Quinnen, listen, I've been looking at splits for this for years with the Jets. When Quinnen Williams, even when he came off the field for like a drive, the Jets' defense would get significantly worse. Mm-hmm. Works the other way too. You add him to this Cowboys. Quinnen Williams is a game changer. And he's changing the game right now for the Dallas Cowboys. And you look at the way that they stopped the run in this game, and then the Eagles just chose not to run the football at times when they got these 5-man fronts. They either checked out of it or they just stopped running the ball altogether. Quinnen Williams is making a huge difference in this front 7, and the great players make everybody around him better. That's the core of it right now. That trade, again, the draft picks are going to be what they are eventually.
Right.
But what it's done, at least for 2 games for this defense, it's changed the whole picture.
Yeah, I think that you're obviously seeing what's worth it for them to do a trade like that. I think the frustrating part might have been like, is it too late this year? Which maybe it is. Maybe the Cowboys don't end up making the playoffs, but certainly you beat the Eagles. If you beat the Chiefs on Thanksgiving, all of a sudden, like, you are pedal to the metal. And this team is starting to believe. Honestly, most impressive to me, Brian Schottenheimer, man. You listen to, I know it's obviously a lively locker room anytime you win, but you listen to the clips of them, the last couple of weeks with everything that the team has gone through with the Marshawn Nealon situation, his passing, and how they've sort of rallied around him and the causes around him, and just being able to play for their teammate and all that kinds of stuff. And Brian Schottenheimer has been in the middle of it with those teammates, just rallying around this tragedy and wanting to like put their best foot forward and all that kinds of stuff. You listen to the clips after this game, and he's having fun with the teammates. He's like basically he said to him, he's like, hey, can you win the game in the first quarter? And the whole team yells, no. Can you win the game in the second quarter? And they're like, no. And he's like, Can you win if we spot them 21 points? And they kind of laugh and they yell no or whatever. He's like, but can you win it in the fourth quarter and overtime? Yeah, you can. And when the Cowboys made this change at quarterback and they were moving on from McCarthy, and we thought that they were going to maybe make a big splash for one of these other, head coaches that were available, and they kind of dragged their feet with it, and like, well, actually, I think they're pretty in on Brian Schottenheimer, actually, as their guy here. And I remember, myself included, I was like, man, are they just kind of like settling here? And I kind of thought that might have been the case, but man, he's showing, I think, that he's the right man for the job. And It's those clips after the game. It's how they've been able to pick themselves up after a disappointing year. Losing Micah at the beginning of the season. I mean, who does that? Who loses their all-world defensive player weeks, days before the season's about to begin? And they come out on fire against the Eagles. They almost beat the Eagles in week 1, and obviously they faltered a little bit. But my most impressive is just the job that Brian Schottenheimer has done with his team to somehow have the Cowboys still in it with a massive game against the Chiefs coming up on Thanksgiving.
The stakes could not be higher and are basically the same for both teams with some huge head-to-head games coming for the Cowboys to get this win. You look at their next two, they're not easy, for sure. You get the Chiefs coming in, and then they got to go to Detroit. But we've said this already.
Oh, my gosh. They have to go to Detroit after this?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yes.
If all of a sudden you can stop the run.
Right. No, you can, then you can make it a ball game.
You got Quinnen Williams against sometimes a suspect interior offensive line. I know I'm getting a week ahead of our preview. We got to preview the Chief game first on Wednesday. But you mess around and win this Chiefs game. Okay? Now you got the Lions with if you got a better run defense, if this is real. Okay? And then the back end of it is not terrible if you're looking at this Cowboys schedule. Vikings, Chargers, Commanders, Giants. Keep in mind, for as much as we mess around and joke about this tie they got with the Packers, you don't need all the other tiebreakers. Mm-hmm. If this team were to win 5 of their last 6, actually maybe more doable than we think, and you're 10-6-1, you like your chances to get in. The next 2, you got to win one of these next 2 and then just get raging hot down the stretch, I think.
Yeah, right.
But I don't think we can sit here and say it's impossible because the defense is playing better. And if Dak wants to go and get hot again now for the stretch run, you got a dangerous team. And I'll tell you what, you know who else is dangerous? George Pickens on the outside. And I thought he was a good fit for this team going in as that kind of second fiddle vertical threat. Well, he took over as the number 1 in this game. How about an 89.7 receiving grade? 9 catches, 146 and a touchdown. How about 4 for 4 on contested targets? That sounds like George Pickens, doesn't it? It sounds like the A-plus version of George Pickens they were hoping to get. He's just such a perfect fit with Dak.
But the thing with Pickens is he always had the contested catch ability, right? You go back to Georgia, what he was when he was at Georgia. You go to what he was when he was with the Steelers. He is the sideline, contested catch type of a wide receiver. I'm watching him this year. He's got so much more juice on the break of his routes than I think I've ever seen. And I love George Pickens. I had George Pickens 16th overall in that, was it 2022 season? 2022? I think it was 2022. I had him 16th overall. I had him as wide receiver 3. I had Jameson Williams and Drake London right above him. But I had him 16th overall in that class. I love George Pickens. What he is right now for the Cowboys is even better than I thought that he was going to be. Because what I thought he was going to be was what the version that the Steelers got. And now, I mean, you watch him over the last couple of weeks, he's breaking ankles. We watched him last night against the Cowboys. I mean, he is old George Pickens, or I should say like previous George Pickens, early on in his career when he was at Georgia. He'd face press coverage, and he would just want to get physical with guys, right? He'd get off the line of scrimmage. He'd kind of like, shake his feet, shake his shoulders a little bit. But really what he's just trying to do is he's trying to get physical. He's trying to get a little push off. He's trying to create that separation and then get vertical somehow. I'm watching him, like the goal line touchdown that he had. Ball gets snapped. His feet start working, and then he snaps to the outside. And I'm like, who is this? Who is this wide receiver? So now, if you combine the height, the strength, the athleticism, the contested catch ability, and now he's a route runner.
Well, it's how you end up with numbers like this. 4th in receiving grade.
I believe it.
4th in yards per route run.
Yep.
2nd in yards behind Smith and Jigba. And, of course, leads the league in contested catches. 18 contested catches this year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's playing like it. I thought coming into this was going to work, and it was like, okay, he's going to be a really good second fiddle to CeeDee Lamb. He's been arguably the best player on the team this year.
He's been awesome.
It's been unbelievable. And he was the best player on the field in this game.
He was. Most disappointing for me, CeeDee Lamb. Lamb with 2 more drops in this game. He wasn't good in the Eagles game in the opener. He had 13 targets, 4 receptions in this game. I mean, I think the Cowboys even have a bigger lead, and they're able to come back even sooner if CeeDee Lamb has a better game. 54.8 receiving grade there for him. He's just some of the drops, it's just like you don't expect CeeDee Lamb to make. and he kind of comes off the field and he's like laughing and yelling after some of these drops, and I don't totally want to get into that because I don't know who he's talking to, I don't know what he's doing, but it's like, man, he's got to be better. That's all I can really say about it. Like, George Pickens has been great, but they need both of these guys to be playing really well if you're going to beat the Chiefs and then you're going to beat the Lions.
All right, and if he does get better,
you feel great about it.
You feel pretty darn good about it. But these next 2 weeks for the Cowboys just got a whole lot more fun.